Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, we take a 400-mile road trip with the Tesla Model 3 Performance. This is a 2021 model. It is pretty rainy and dreary outside. We are going from our home in Northern Illinois up to my wife's family that live in a suburb northwest of Minneapolis. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and see what kind of efficiency we get on the expressway in the rain and that. And let's see here. Let's see what kind of percentage we are at and how many miles it expects we'll get. So we are at 99% and it says 300 miles, which figures about right. This car typically fully charges to 100% and shows between 302 and maybe 305 miles of range. When I bought it, it said 307, but I rarely charge to 100%. So I'm gonna try that a couple times and see if it ups my mileage, my range, or if the car has just lost a couple miles of range. This car currently has just shy of 16,000 miles on it. So let's go ahead and get on the road. All right, so I am at Mauston, Wisconsin, Culver's at the supercharger here, and I'm currently at 96% state of charge. I'm charging all the way to 100% just to make sure that I've got enough. And so it says my next supercharger is in Oakdale, Minnesota. So it says I'll arrive there with 15% state of charge, so that's why I want to peak this all the way up at 100% if I can. The Oakdale, Minnesota supercharger is the closest charger to my destination, so I generally stop there, and I will also charge it all the way up to 100%. That way I can maximize how much power I have when I get to my destination, and then I'll plug into 110 and trickle charge the car for the rest of the way. So let's see here. For today, I've gone 163 miles from my home to the Mauston supercharger, used 51 kilowatt hours, 311 watt hours per mile. So I was going pretty fast in the expressway at 70 mile an hour speed. I think I was going 75, 70 is the speed limit. And it was raining most of the way, so 311, pretty poor efficiency, but I got here with 30% charge, so that was fine. And anyway, so that's that. Kind of interesting. I'm parked the second charging spot over. Nobody's here. I had parked all the way over on the other side, and there was an issue with that connector, so I just moved over, and a Model S comes in and parks right next to me, and obviously doesn't understand charging. For those of you that don't know, every two charging spots share one transformer, and it biases the car that was there first. So I got here first, and the Model S that parked next to me was only getting partial charge current because he parked right next to a car and there's all these open spaces. But I tried making eye contact to tell the guy, but so I tried, I'm looking, I'm waving, the guy's ignoring me. So whatever. He spent probably an awful long time getting what little charge he got parked next to me. So anyway, so that's it. I will touch base with you guys when I'm back on the road, and I'll let you know how it goes. All right, so I'm on the road here on my way to Oakdale, Minnesota, and you can see I'm currently at 79% state of charge, and it expects that I'll arrive with 15% charge in the battery. So we'll go ahead and see if that's correct. And yeah, it's not exactly pleasant out, but the weather forecast was actually calling for rain mixed with snow, and it's a couple degrees warmer than they were calling for. So you know what, not too bad, I guess. And just enjoying the drive. I gotta tell you, I just have the basic free autopilot. I don't have the full self-driving, not on this car. I did on my last car, and really does take the road weariness away from staring out the windshield. I really do enjoy driving, but I'm borderline to the point of needing glasses, I think. It's been a few years since I've been to the eye doctor, but I'm the only member of my family that doesn't wear glasses. And every time I go to the eye doctor, they say, you're fine, you don't need glasses, but you're gonna get there. Well, I might be nearing that because I've noticed that it strains my eyes to stare for hours straight at the highway. So autopilot is great because even though you don't want to just look away and, you know, whatever, but you don't have to stare. You can be a little bit more relaxed about it and kind of glance around a little bit. And really, really is nice, I got to tell you. So anyway, again, we are on the road. It says that I'll be there in 2 hours and 2 minutes. I've got 141 miles to go. So we'll see if that's correct or not. All right, so I've arrived at Oakdale, Minnesota. You can see the weather has changed. It is 34 degrees out. We've got snow on the ground here, and I'm pulling into the Oakdale, Minnesota Hy-Vee to the supercharger here. This is, it says that there's 8 stalls. So let's see here. We have quite a few cars, but I do see a couple openings. So let's see here. Let me pull in, and then I'll show you guys the our map here and how everything's looking from a range standpoint. All right, battery very low. So let's see here. We will go. So there's the trip graph. Now it was initially saying I was supposed to have, I think it was 16% battery when I arrive, or 19 or 16 or 19%, whatever. But we arrived at 7%. Was starting to get a little bit concerned, although I could govern how I was driving. But what happened is, you see here, this is where I stopped to charge at the Mauston supercharger. Well, so I charged there, went up, and all of a sudden I was tracking pretty well, and then weather got bad, and you can see where the graph diverges as the weather got bad. I was pretty much maintaining the same road speed throughout, so that was due to bad weather. Just kind of gives you guys an idea of how weather can affect a Tesla. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in and supercharge, and then head to my final destination. All right, so we're at 97%, which states 294 miles of range, and we are on our way now to my wife's family's house in Minnesota, and we have 72 miles to go. So we will see. It predicts that we will make it there at 64% charge, so we'll see. Hey guys, so I'm just a few miles away from my my destination, and I thought you'd get a kick out of seeing this. So the green line here is the line that shows the efficiency that we're currently achieving, and the gray line beneath it was the expected amount of energy that we would use on this trip. And you'll notice that the line that we're using is higher. That actually means we are more efficient. We'll have more energy left when we reach our destination. It says we'll have 70% charge when we arrive. So pretty interesting. The fact that our last leg of our trip we used far more energy, and on this leg of the trip we're using far less. I'm still driving at roughly the same pace. I mean, right now we're in a town, but on the expressway, still going anywhere from 70 to 75 miles an hour. And so yeah, kind of interesting. And I wanted to shoot this video to show you guys that on a road trip, well, I guess I'll word it this way: always err on the side of charging a little bit extra. Whenever I take a road trip, I always make sure that if the car says, oh, you'll make it to your destination with 18%, you know, charge up to 80%, and you'll make it there with 18% left or whatever, I will typically charge up an extra 10%. Because it's been my experience that I've seen it where you use far more energy than the car assumes, but also, like I said, right now we're using less energy than it was assuming. So pretty interesting. And let's see here. In this entire trip, we've gone 391 miles total so far, and we've used 329 watt hours per mile. So pretty poor efficiency, but admittedly this is I don't know that I'd say worst case scenario, but cold weather, wet, and highway speeds. 3 things that are worst on an EV. And this is a Model 3 Performance, which is the least efficient Model 3. So anyway, that's it for me for today, guys. I appreciate you tuning in. Just thought you'd get a kick out of this video. For those of you that are looking at getting a Tesla and you want to know what it's like to travel, this is what it's like. And to give you an idea, in this roughly 400-mile trip, I have spent an hour and about just shy of an hour and 40 minutes charging, about an hour and 35 minutes at 2 charging stops. Although I will say this, part of that was because at the first charger in Mauston, Wisconsin, I plugged the car in, went into Culver's, was just waiting in there, and I looked at the app and just a few percent charge, and then the car stopped charging. Went out and started to charge again. It was charging slow. I had to move the car to another charging stop, or another charger, another cord, and so that killed some time. But still, I would say that this trip is probably taking an hour to an hour and 15 minutes longer in my Tesla than it would in a gas car. Now, my wife took our plug-in hybrid, and that car, it's a Mini Cooper Countryman SE plug-in hybrid. That car gets about 34 miles to the gallon on the expressway, and that car, even though it's pretty good on gas, will be about $150 round trip in gas, whereas this thing, I currently have free charging, so I'm saving $150, and if it wastes 2.5 hours of my time, hey, that's like 60 or whatever, $65 an hour of time, that $60 to $65 an hour that I'm getting sort of paid, or I'm saving by plugging in at the charger. Even if I were paying for the electricity, it would still probably save me, I don't know, $60 or $70 versus paying for gas. Probably more than that. Probably save me $80 or $90 versus paying for gas. So anyway, that's it for this video. And if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments section below. And as always, stay charged. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye now.